Welcome to video 5 of a complete T-SQL course built specifically for business professionals. This video covers the where clause and how to filter query results down to exactly the rows that you need. Let's get into it. Every query we've written so far returns every row in the table. Where changes that. It sits after from and takes a condition called predicate and tests it against every row. Rows where the predicate evaluates to true come back. Rows where it evaluates to false are excluded. That is the entire mechanism. Let's start with the simplest possible case, a single condition. The business scenario is a product report. We only want to see black products. We just write a condition first. Run this query. The product table has around 500 rows and we can see 93 rows were returned. So 93 rows where each product is black in color. This where color equals to black is the predicate. SQL Server reads every row in production.product, evaluates that condition, and only returns the rows where it is true. Notice the single quotes around the word black. In T-SQL, any text value written directly in a query is called a string literal. String literals are always wrapped in single quotes, not double quotes. Now, let's try a different condition. Let's comment out the first one. Go to a new row. We'll filter on price. So where list price is greater than 500. Okay, run this query. Here, list price greater than 500 is a numeric predicate. There are no quotes around the numbers. Numbers are written directly. SQL Server compares the value in the list price column to the number 500 and returns only the rows where the list price is greater. Now let's do a date example. We'll switch to the sales order header table for this one. So let's filter for orders that were placed after the 1st of January 2025. Actually, we'll say on or after the 1st of January 2025. Run the query. Date values are written as string literals too, wrapped in single quotes. Now you can present the date in many formats, but the format to use would be YYYY-MM-TD. This format is unambiguous regardless of the server's regional settings. Some formats like DD/MM/YYY or MM-TD, these can be interpreted differently depending on how the server is configured, which produces wrong results silently. So the YYYY-MM-TD is safe everywhere. Just to summarize what we have seen, the way you write a value in a predicate depends on its data type. Text values are string literals in single quotes. Numbers are written directly without quotes. Dates are also written as string literals in single quotes in YYYY-MM-TD format. The columns data type in the table determines which applies, and writing the wrong one will either throw a conversion error or produce unexpected results. We will cover data types properly in a later video. For now, these three rules cover the vast majority of where conditions you will write. Before moving on, there is a constraint worth knowing about. In the last video, we used the keyword as to give columns friendlier names in the output. And it is natural to assume that you can then use those names in a where clause. Well, you can't. So we can directly see out here that this will fail and price has a squiggly line under it, which means there's an error out there. SQL Server does not recognize the alias price in the where clause. Why? Because of the logical order in which SQL Server processes your query. The query engine evaluates the from and where clauses to locate and filter your rows before it even looks at the select list where those column aliases are defined. So at the exact moment the engine is filtering the data, that price nickname doesn't even exist yet. To fix this, we need to use the original column name. So that would work. The full set of comparison operators available in T-SQL are the equal to sign for equals, right arrow for greater than, left arrow for less than, the less than greater than sign for not equals, right arrow equal to for greater than or equal to, and left arrow equal to for less than or equal to. Let's see these in a real query. So here we're going to use the equal to operator to find products where the color is exactly red. We can also use the not equal to sign. So now we want to find products where the color is anything except red. And we get a result set back. Red products are now absent, but rows where the color is null are also excluded, and we'll come back to this in the gotcha section. Less than or equal to, so let's just say, so find products with a list price of 500 or under. Probably just add list price in the result set as well. Did that work? Yep. Operators work on dates too. So we'll find all orders placed before June 2025. And that returns the right result as well. So the comparison is always between the column value and the literal that you supply. The operator sits between them. So this structure, column name, operator, value, is the standard form of a predicate in T-SQL. A single predicate covers a lot of ground, but most real filtering requirements involve more than one condition. And, or, and not let you combine predicates into more complex logic, and requires both conditions to be true. Let's find black products with a list price above 500. Let's add a third condition, only black products above 500 that are not discontinued. So when the cell end date column in production or product is null, then the product is still active and actively being sold. We will use is null for that condition, which is explained fully in the gotcha section later on. Okay, so we had 40 rows out here. When we run this, our result set will be smaller. Okay, that worked. Or requires at least one condition to be true. So let's find products that are either black or red. So color equals to black or color equals to red. Run this. We get our products. Notice the row count is higher than the AND example, or broaden the result set and narrows it. Let's try a mixed example using or across different columns. So products that are either black or priced above 1,000 regardless of color. So we still want the black color products. Let's run this. So the result set includes black products plus expensive products of any other color. Not inverts a condition. So where not color equals to black will return every product that is explicitly identified as something other than black. But in practice, we'll more often write this condition using the less than greater than sign. And remember, regardless, both will skip over rows where the color is null because you can't invert an unknown value. Here is where most people make their first serious mistake. When you mix and or in the same where clause, SQL Server does not evaluate them left to right. It has a built-in order of precedence and is evaluated before or, always. This produces a logic error that is easy to write and hard to spot. Suppose you want products that are either black or red, and in both cases cost more than 500. You might write it like this. Run this. The query runs without an error, and you might think that this worked, but in reality it didn't. We did get products where the color is red and the list price is over 500, but for the color black, it returned all the products regardless of the list price. In reality, SQL Server evaluates our query exactly like this. This means for a row to return, it only needs to fulfill one of the two entirely separate tracks. Track 1 is product is red and over $500. Track 2 is simply that the product is black and no price rule applied to it at all. And that is why cheap black color products slip into our report. That is not what was intended, but nothing in the query text makes it obviously throwing a syntax error. Now let's write the correct version using parentheses to make the intent explicit. So let's run this query. Now we have only black and red products, and all of them have a list price of above 500. This is the correct result. Parentheses overrides the default precedence. SQL Server evaluates what is inside the parentheses first and then applies the AND. The logic now behaves exactly as written. So the practical rule, whenever you want to mix and or in the same where clause, use parentheses. Even if you're confident about the precedence adding parentheses makes the logic self-documenting. So let's do a second example. Find products that are either black with a high price or silver with a low price. So color black. So that's our first condition. Or color is silver and the list price is less than 100. Run the query. So low cost silver products and high cost black products. So here we have two AND groups joined by an OR. Each group is parenthesized independently and the intent is unambiguous. Okay, so the one that catches out almost everyone at some point is using equal to null instead of is null. If you want to find products that have no color assigned, your instinct might be to write where color equals to null. So something like this. It will not throw an error. Let's run this. It will just return 0 rows every time, regardless of how many nulls are actually in that column. Null in SQL represents an unknown value. The logic behind this is precise. You cannot test whether an unknown value equals to anything, including another unknown. The comparison itself is unknown and SQL treats unknown as false. So equal to null never matches any row. The correct syntax is null, which is a special operator designed for exactly this purpose. So let's change it to is null and run the query. Each of the products out here has no color assigned to it. And the inverse of this is not null, where color is not null will return every product where a color has been assigned. So here, so we know color equals to null will fail. Color not equal to null will also fail. This also explains something that you may have noticed earlier. When we ran where color is not equal to red, so this, here you'll notice that none of the results has a null value in the color column, even though null is technically not red. SQL Server does not include nulls in a not equal comparison. If you need those rows as well, you need to explicitly ask for them. So this would go like, okay, so previously we had 218 rows. This query should expand the result set. Yep, now we get results where the color is not red and where the color is null. Null behavior is important enough to deserve its own video, and we'll cover it properly later in this course. For now, file away the rule. Never use equal to null or not equal to null. Always use is null or is not null. In the next video, we will add 3 more operators that come up constantly in practice. Between for ranges, in for matching against a list of values, and like for pattern matching on text.